West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
Yes, well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome back to the same old Arsenal podcast. I'll just repeat that. The same old Arsenal podcast. Episode, I don't know what number it is at the moment, but very worrying times indeed. Losing to Aston Villa yesterday, 3-0. Before we start, links in the description below to the our podcast sponsor, the West Cork Beard Company. Christmas coming up. If you know someone who's got a beard, a nice gift, I'm sure, to receive. First of all, I'm going to start off by saying well done, Aston Villa. Came to the Emirates and absolutely tore us a new one. And quite rightfully went back up the road with 3 points. They were absolutely brilliant yesterday. To a man, Aston Villa were absolutely superb. So no negative reaction for me toward Aston Villa. I've seen some today on Twitter. I just don't understand it. They came down and done a complete job on us, and we've only got ourselves to blame. Lee Judges, yesterday we sat here last week and we said there's no point in beating Man United at Old Trafford and then coming down to London and losing to Aston Villa. It's exactly what's happened. We've sat here and we've slagged off Klosniak. We've slagged off Mustafi. We've slagged off Leno. We've slagged off Xhaka. We've all said that they're no good and they're not good enough for Arsenal. Now, none of them players were playing yesterday. Well, except for Leno. The other three that I mentioned weren't playing yesterday. So we can't have a go at them. So, what's happened, Lee? What happened yesterday? I've been off work today and I'm sitting here all day just trying to think to myself, what am I going to say? What are we going to talk about tonight? How has it gone so wrong from 7 days? How has it gone so wrong in 7 days?
Because it's a different setup away from home to it is at home. And we just got...
But he played the same team, didn't he? He played the same team.
Yeah, well... Yeah, but it's on a different pitch and a different formation against a different team. A team that's going to sit back and hit you on the break. A team that, I have to say, looked at our weaknesses and just exploited them. And they exploited them from the first minute of the game, which they scored from, by the way, which was a great goal. I know that it's offside, but
it wasn't.
I don't think even if... Well, it is because he's interfering with play. But in theory, it don't matter if he was there or he wasn't there. It's a goal. You know, he ain't going to say that. But the fact of the matter is, against Leicester, it was the same situation with Xhaka. He weren't interfering with play, weren't going to affect the play, but he was given offside because he was interfering. It's a silly rule as far as I'm concerned, but it's the rule. So, but anyway, whatever that matters to whatever it is, that was a warning sign. And we just didn't heave it. You know what I mean? Then I look at it, 2 minutes, with their goal, they just playing it around on the left-hand side, no one getting close. I'll tell you this now, Jack Grealish, the most fouled player in the Premier League, didn't get fouled once yesterday. Didn't get fouled once. And the reason being, and I'll tell you, if you've ever played football, he picked up the ball and the first thing Holding done was backtrack into his box. So he just let him run with the ball. He must have thought, oh, happy days. They're scared of me. You know what I mean? And that's what it was. I don't know what was going on from that point of view. The tactics were shambolic from the first minute to the last. He never changed it. And I'm going to say this now. Yeah, he's had a bad day. He's had a bad day at the office. And what, you're not allowed to criticise Arteta because he's had a bad day at the office? Well, bloody right I am. I expect a lot better from somebody like him, and I'm going to say it now. He's learning on the job. People are saying it on Twitter today. He shouldn't be learning on the job. He shouldn't be learning on the Premiership. I honestly think the job's too big for him. I think he's out of his depth. And I'm not having a go. And I'm going to tell you this now. If you had Ancelotti in there or you had Mourinho, I think they'd struggle with this lot. Be out of their depth. I really do, because what you've got is Holding, who I thought had a very, very good game last week, okay, against Man United. And then he just sums up Arsenal by his next performance is as bad as it can possibly get. There's no consistency between the players, and that's why you're getting poor results. Now, the reason that this game's different is because when you're playing against Man United, you can defend on your 18-yard box, and so be it. You can't do that at home. You've got to push up a lot more at home. So we push up a lot more. But what Arteta does is he pushes the back four up. But what he does then is he drops his front three into our own half as well. If you have a look at their first goal, 11 players back in and around the box. The whole 11 in and around the box. And they still put a cross in and score. You know, he just doesn't trust the defence that he's got. Now, my argument to that is, okay, if you don't trust Mustafi, you don't trust the Holding, and you don't trust David Luiz, then bring in Saliba. You might as well bring in a young kid and make him do it. Now, when we play a back three, we was outstanding in the back three against Chelsea and Manchester City in the Cups, yeah? And who was playing in that back three? David Luiz. If you're going to play a back three, you play David Luiz. He played David Luiz the last time he played in a two, which is ropey. The decisions that he's making are unbelievable. I was just going to quickly go on to Willian. Let's just go on to Willian. You know, you've got a 23, 24-year-old, £72 million player, right, in Pepe. And what he's doing is model calling, if that's the right word, model calling. A 34-year-old washed up wide right player, playing him all the time. What's the future? A 34-year-old has-been, or a 24-year-old, £72 million player? Give him the tools. I look at Willock. Had a great game on Thursday night against Mould. You can say it's against Mould, bro. You know what I mean? But I watched Willian play that game. Did nothing. I've watched other players do nothing. I watched Eddie do absolutely nothing in that game. Apart from getting in people's way and things like that, you know what I mean? Yeah, he might nick goal, but other than that, you know, he's done nothing. And I see Willock score a goal, play really, really well, cause all sorts of problems. What's his reward? Don't even get in a squad. And this is the thing, you know, poor players continually playing poorly. Balogun, we know what Eddie can do. We know that he ain't good enough. Right, he's not going to make. Let's be honest. You know, he's not going to make the grade at Arsenal Football Club as the main striker. He's not going to do it. Right, let's be honest about it. So let's say if this Balogun can, let him play in the Europa League games. And I'm fed up with what I'm seeing at this moment in time. You know, all of a sudden, I've got to say it. Tierney had one of his worst games. I've seen on Twitter they're all taking the mickey out of him when he fell over. He done that in the first minute. It was just sloppy play all the way through. Now, I'm not slagging off Partey when I say this. Partey has played now 4 games for Arsenal. We've lost 3 since he's been in. It is more than just bringing in one player that we've needed. We've brought in Partey. He's a fantastic player, but we're still a million miles away from where we want to be. And I watched it yesterday, and I'm going to say it. Arteta didn't have a clue what to do yesterday. I think it's embarrassing when he's looking around and he's got his assistant looking at a computer, laptop, going like that. You know what I mean? Like, don't they know how to coach properly? Got to have a fucking laptop. Oh, sorry, I swore. Got to have a laptop. Like, sorry, Craig's just lost his bottle of wine, by the way, for that. Yeah, you got it back. You got it back. But they're looking at laptops, Craig. They're looking at laptops to try and see what's wrong. If you cannot see from the naked eye what's wrong, they're targeting Bellerin. They're targeting Holding, and Bellerin is not getting back into shape to help him. You know, and you're playing a back 3 or a back 5, and Bellerin. Can someone please that knows more about football tell me what position he was playing? Somebody told me it's an inverted right back. Inverted right back. Where's that come from, back? Where's that come
Inverted right
from?
back.
Inverted right back. I only know one thing that's inverted. And that's from where's all that come from?
Yeah, I know. Well, this is. Yeah, I'll tell you where it's come from. YouTubers, not us. I wouldn't call us you. Well, we're on YouTube.
He's had enough, Mark. He's gone.
I said it today on Twitter that there's a lot of grooming going on Twitter with Arsenal fans. I tell you, Arsenal Twitter last night was an absolute. It was horrendous.
What's annoying, Craig, is like the result against Man United. I'm going to say this now. Me and Dan have spoken about this. I had no expectations going into that game, and if we lost it, I wouldn't have been too down and all that, like, you know. And then what I do is I think, right, I ain't going to go overboard about Villa. I even felt that Villa could get something from the game, but you build yourself up. We're at home. You look at the table, thinking, oh, we can go 2 points behind the top two here, and blah 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 blah. And they let you down with inept performances. I watched a little bit of the Manchester City Liverpool game before. We are nowhere near at that level, nowhere near. And you've got a manager at this moment in time that's too afraid to win games of football. He's more worried about not losing them. Sorry, he's more worried about not losing them, and it's costing us 10 goals. We've conceded. We've only scored 9 goals with that front three up front. And I watched Leicester, like, you know, I mean, does Vardy come back into it? I don't see Vardy in the opposition's defending in his.
I know what you're going to say. Aubameyang in our own half.
Aubameyang in our own half. I see Aubameyang in our box. I don't see Vardy doing it, and I think myself, you know what I mean? Wonder that's why he gets 20 goals a season. You know, I don't care what happens now. Arteta, if Aubameyang is not down the middle in the next game, that's it. I'm done with him. Because he's got to do something different now. He's got 2 weeks to come up with a different formation, a different system, and sort it out. And sort it out, he has to. And I don't want to see the likes of Mustafi coming back into the team when they're not going to be here next season. I want to see someone like Saliba coming in there. And if he's going to make mistakes, I'd rather see him make mistakes for the long term, and instead of seeing what I'm seeing at the moment. Bellerin, how many more chances is he going to get? I didn't think he was that bad yesterday, but he continues to keep playing Bellerin. You know what I mean? He's got 2 other fullbacks here that are coming through in games in the Europa League. 2, you know, I don't want to see Willian playing again, or starting, should I say. He has done nothing to justify 7 starts out of 8. And that 1 start he didn't have was because he was injured, Craig. I'm sorry.
No, you're dead right, mate. It's not good enough. Dan, let's come to you. When Mikel Arteta took over, he said, if no one's on board, it's non-negotiable. You're out, right? So, by looking at yesterday's game, there's a good few of them that are not on board. You know, if he's going to talk the talk, he's going to have to walk the walk. And I think a lot of those players need dropping.
You're absolutely spot on, mate. It's fair enough in being ruthless with the likes of Torreira and Ozil and Guendouzi. When's he going to be ruthless with some of the players that Lee's gone on about there? Because as far as I'm concerned, mate, Willian settled into his retirement home. This is another David Luiz signing and a Petr Cech signing for me. In fact, it's worse. This is a guy who is doing nothing. He is offering us nothing at all. And he believes he has the loyalty to play him because he's his player ahead of Pepe, who was not his signing. And that's the only excuse I can come up with. Lacazette, how many more chances does he need to miss before we drop him? A free header. I don't care that it come to him quick. It was a brilliant cross from a player who, out of character, was poor last night in Kieran Tierney. But I'm not going to give Tierney and Saka too much stick because they're consistently good. This is one of the worst games I've seen both of them two play, right? They're young. They can make mistakes. These players that are supposed to be our leaders and our senior heads are messing up all the time. I see Rob Holding and Bellerin have a good game, like Lee said, against Old Trafford, and all of a sudden they're the next Philip Lahm and Cannavaro. They are not good enough. Their best player on the pitch by a country mile before a ball was even kicked, we knew was going to be Jack Grealish. Where did he go? He didn't go to the left, did he? He went down the right-hand side because he knows that Bellerin and Holding are going to mess up. And not only them two going to mess up, he has got Willian not doing anything to track back. So when you talk about people coming on board the ship and coming in, there is so many out there that look disinterested and look like they down tools already on this manager. And that's very, very worrying. I've got to question the manager here. I don't want to, but I have to. And I did on Twitter, and I got some abuse for it because people were saying I was harsh and it was disgraceful to question this messiah of a manager. Listen, he isn't a messiah of the manager yet. He's done a very good job with a very bad group of players, but he is going to make mistakes. And when he makes mistakes, I'm going to question him. And Lee's right. I'm giving him these 3 games against Leeds, Wolves and Spurs to show me something different. And if I see Lacazette, Willian and Aubameyang as our front 3 in all those games, I'm going to lose faith very, 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 very quickly. I think when you look at the front 3 there that are not performing, you have to do something different, Craig. And there is solutions looking at him. He's got Willock having 2 great games. I don't care that it's against Dundalk or Mould. You're supposed to be playing what's in front of you. And if you get to the stage of impressing the fans and the manager, you deserve to be rewarded. Why is Maitland-Niles still here? Why didn't he go to Wolves? What was the point of him staying? He's not even getting ahead of Cedric. He's not got the chance. You've got him as an option. You've got the solution of Saliba. Nobody can sit there and tell me that Maitland-Niles and Saliba do not deserve to be given a chance in this game because Bellerin, Holding, Mustafi and Luiz are better. It is a joke. I look in the midfield. He's got Joe Willock as an option. Smith-Rowe's now come back as an option. We've got Saka that can play in all different positions. We've got Pepe that can go central. We've got Aubameyang down the middle. Oh, Aubameyang's a left winger. Aubameyang was absolutely quality when Lewandowski went to Bayern Munich because he was Dortmund's main man down the middle. And that was where he scored all his goals, and that was why we bought him. I cannot understand why people still believe that it is okay to say that Aubameyang is a left midfielder and we can't put him down the middle. And if you do want to put him on the left, you need your number 9 to be chipping in with the goals when he's given the chance. And Lacazette is fluffing him. He cannot finish his dinner, Craig. And I don't know how many more chances that guy needs. It's fine having loyalty to players. It's fine keeping faith in them and giving them confidence boosts. But at the moment, he is damaging our results and we're losing points because he's picking players who are out of form and he's sticking with them and he will not give the others a chance. And it's all right because we've got Leeds next who lost to Aston Villa. Oh, no, they didn't. They spanked them 4-1 or 3-1 or whatever it was. So we've got Leeds, Wolves and Spurs. And I'm not even going into any of those games, no matter what, if it's 2 weeks break, with any confidence because the way we're playing at the moment is poor. We've conceded 10 goals and scored 9. Or is it scored 10 and conceded 9? One or the other way around. Either way, terrible. Absolutely dreadful to be 8 games in and to score that little amount of goals. We have looked so bad. We've looked worse going forward than we ever did under Unai Emery and Arsene Wenger. And we might look more disciplined at the back, but we're still losing football games because we're not finishing our dinner. And Arteta needs to take some blame for that. You can blame the players all you want. They have never been good enough. Pick the players, if you don't believe are good enough, that are going to win you the game. I was absolutely fine with him keeping the same team against Manchester United, at Old Trafford, because I thought that they deserved to be given another chance. But you cannot play the same way against Aston Villa at home than you do with Man United away. It's a completely different game. So what you need to do is pick the players that you believe are going to be suited to that game, whether that means bringing Ceballos in or whether you ask El Neni or a party to do a different job in terms of getting the front 3 to be given the chances to score. And what frustrates me the most to end on this, once again, is we have created enough in every single one of these games to take 3 points. And we haven't had the players to do it. But doesn't matter because they'll play next week. It does not matter. You got Eddie bringing Eddie on all the time. He won't put Willock on the bench. He won't give Saliba a chance. He won't bring Maitland-Niles even on in the midfield to try something different. But Eddie comes on every single game with 20 minutes to go and offers us nothing at all. No different. There's no plan B from Arteta. He doesn't even try and make plan A better. He just, when plan A doesn't work, he just goes clueless. And that's worrying. And I understand that he's a young manager. I understand he's going to make mistakes. But I am going to call him out when he makes them because I can't sit here as an optimistic Arsenal fan or as a winner wanting to win games, accepting that this is good enough and this is where we are at the moment because we have got solutions looking him in the face and he's not even trying them. And this is what the frustrating thing is for me. If he's going to continue to play that front 3 with Aubameyang left, Willian right and Lacazette through the middle, who like Lee says, half the time is acting as a third in midfield, then we are not going to go forward. And he needs to change something now in the next 2 weeks. Otherwise, I am going to get on his back and I don't care what the fans think because we should be able to question any Arsenal manager when we do not believe it is going right. And it's not a case of could you do any better? It's a case of everybody can see that this isn't working. So change it. Change something, try something. It doesn't matter if that doesn't come off. At least try it. If you want to put Saliba at the back, if you think that's going to improve things next to Gabriel and try and go 4-3-3, try it. The fans would look at that and go, do you know what? It didn't work out, but we went 4-3-3 with Gabriel and Saliba. He put Willock in midfield for some legs and he played Pepe through the middle. That was different. I wanted to see that. That was good. We lost the game 3-2, but at least it was a good effort from the manager and it was something different. I think the fans would appreciate that more because we're trying to go at teams and trying something different. These tactics at the moment, it is boring to watch, Craig. I'm falling asleep watching Arsenal. It is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I actually there was a couple of I turned it up. What game was it? I can't. I think it was Leicester. Yeah, I think it was Leicester. It's the first Arsenal game I've turned off and gone to bed. I in years, and then I find myself doing it 2 weeks later. As soon as the third one went in last night, well, see you later. Off the telly went. I've never done that. Mark, a lot of people questioning Mikel Arteta, which is absolutely fine with me. I think my problem is with the people that are calling for him to be sacked already. I think it's just silly after 10 months. Yes, things aren't going right for him. Yes, but to be calling for him to be sacked after 10 months, a bit premature for me. Mark, do you think a bit of arrogance yesterday caused got into the team after winning Old Trafford?
No, a possible bit of fatigue. I don't think Villa played midweek, and they caught us cold. Literally within the first minute, they were up. Or should have been up, and they were just at the races. Listen, sometimes in football you just get beat. You know what I mean? And you have to just hold your hands up and say that's where we're at. We're not an imperious force. Do you know what I mean? We are far from it. We are, as I keep saying, still within the first year of Arteta's reign. He's had one transfer window, and this is going to be a bumpy road to where we want to be, which is somewhere back to what we expect and hope for our football club. It wasn't a good showing. It wasn't a good showing at all, and there's not a lot of people that can be walking around today feeling particularly proud about how they've worn the Arsenal shirt yesterday. Definitely not. You just get caught cold sometimes. The tactics were wrong. Arteta got it wrong. And he held his hands up after the game, by the way. He was man enough to do that, which is a good sign, because a lot of times towards the end of Wenger years, he just kept banging the same drum. He couldn't see what was going wrong. But, Arteta has said, you're going to have to review what's going on in the final third, because we need to be creating more chances. And if that means looking at the personnel and looking at the systems and moving Uber inside, he was directly asked that question. And he said, yes, we will be reevaluating the situation with Uber. So he is going to look at it. We hope he comes out with the outcome that we all want. If anything, just so that Uber can get a run of games down the middle. And listen, I don't think it's going to be the answer. I like Uber on the left-hand side. I do, because he reminds me of Thierry Henry when he used to drift down that left-hand side and cut in and curl them into the far corner. The iconic trademark goal when he came back against Leeds, that is what I see Aubameyang doing. So I've got no problem with Aubameyang playing out there. What my problem is like Lee says, Willian's been hugely disappointing since he's come, and he's possibly stunting the growth of other people in the team. But that's for them to prove to the manager during the week and training and whatnot that they deserve to get a start over him, and stuff like that, and force their way into the side, they've got to be doing that, haven't they? It went wrong yesterday. I sat here last week and said we need to go on a run of wins. Optimistic. Let's go for 10. Well, we didn't even get past 1, did we? That's a real shame. But look, listen, it's going to take time to build. You've got to give the man a chance. We don't want to be turning into a chop and change manager club, because that is a sorry state. Because then you don't get continuity in transfer windows to build what you're trying to build. You just end up with a bit of that, a bit of this, a bit of that, and it doesn't work. It doesn't gel as a system. I'll just tell you this, like Jurgen Klopp, his first game was a 0-0 draw in charge of Liverpool. In goal, he had Mignolet, right back Klein, centre back was a centre half pairing of Sacco and Skirtle with Moreno at left back. Lucas sitting in the middle of the midfield with Can, Milner playing left wing, and Lallana playing right wing with Origi up top with Coutinho just in the hole. And they sold him the very next summer. So that side would probably be getting inconsistent results like we are in this league at this moment in time. 5 years later, they're the best football team on the planet. So calm down, give the man a chance, give him some time, let him do his thing. This international break has come at a good time for us just to reset. You know, we've got like Manchester United. We're not the only football club in this inconsistent world. This is a topsy-turvy season. Aston Villa went to Anfield and won 7-2. They're no mugs. They ain't been beat by Fulham. You know what I mean? They're a good side. You know, you could argue that Grealish and Barkley are the best central attacking midfield pairing in the league at the minute in time. You know, people on there saying Grealish would walk into our team. Yes, of course he would. We'd be absolutely fortunate to have him. We'd be there for our heads if we got him. He's exactly what we're missing.
Absolutely.
You know, that is what we missed in the summer transfer was yeah. So, but we can't get everything done in the window because we couldn't get anything out because nobody in Europe has got any money. So we couldn't.
Well, not only
sell.
that, no one in Europe wants to buy our crap.
Well, they do, Craig. They do want to buy them, but not for the money that we need to get Awar. So they said, well, fine, we can't let these players go if we're not going to get the reinforcements back in the other way. It just takes time. The man's had one window. It's a bad performance. I'm disappointed with it. I'm disappointed. But what it does is it exposes, you know, Bellerin defensive capabilities. I like Bellerin. He's done really well going forward recently. He cannot defend. When someone gets it in over the top behind him, when he's turning about, he don't know. Tierney is not a left-sided centre-back. He's a left-back. Let him prove himself at Arsenal Football Club, which is a huge step up from where he's come from, by the way. Let him prove himself as a left-back before we start going, oh, yeah, let's move him in the middle. He can mark it. He can mark, you know, Mane now. You know, like, let the lad play in his position, which is left-back. Put Saka in front of him, left wing, because he's not a left back. Done a great job filling in for us. But he's not a defender, you know. But he's only working with the personnel he's got. It just takes time, man. It's just so I know it's frustrating. And I know we live in a society where if people want things, they go down the supermarket and they buy it straight away. But sometimes you do have to wait.
Let's just go into some questions here. So some donation questions. Taran, thanks very much for your kind donation, mate. Looking at, is it Fofana? Is that how you pronounce it? And Saliba being a better prospect. How has he not been seen any game time? I think, is that the fellow who plays for Leicester? They were, weren't they partners
last season? Yeah.
I mean, and he's pulling up trees for Leicester, isn't he, that young lad in the middle? It's a great point. Why is Saliba not getting any game time here? Saka, Urba, Pepe at home at least. We've got the handbrake on going forward. Couldn't agree more, mate. Couldn't agree more. We have another one here. 1 second there now. Let me just get rid of that. How do I get us it? I have to find it now. Here we go. This comes in from the Arsenal Lounge. Thank you very much. Congratulations on 10,000 subscribers. Fantastic podcast, and we love Lee the Governor. Well, thank you very much indeed. I actually forgot to mention that, didn't I? Thank you for that kind donation. It's very nice of you. Yes, during the week we reached 10,000 subscribers. Hey! So thank you to you all who come and watch us blah on every week for all your support. We're at 10,000 subscribers now. Let's go. Let's hope we can go to the next 10. This one comes in from Flo. Again, a very kind donation. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Bring Ozil back. It's not like we are blessed with star midfielders and Ozil can't get a game. Arteta needs to use all the players at his disposal. Arteta is done out here. No difference in style from Emery or Arteta. Lee, he's led me into that beautifully because I was just about to say, Mesut Ozil, there is no footballing reason why Mesut Ozil can't be playing for Arsenal at the moment.
No, well, there is. He's not in the squad. He's not given the 25. So
very good.
There's no way he can play.
So,
but you can't. But he can play in January first, as far as I know. It changes all of that. Listen, when you see the performances that we're playing at the moment, Arteta is putting himself under pressure because he's saying this. Now, I don't think, honestly, some of those players, if you was a professional footballer at that club, you wouldn't like the way things are being done. I'm seeing someone like Mesut Ozil that's been at the club so many years being ruthlessly thrown out. I'm seeing Guendouzi, a young kid, being ruthlessly thrown out. Right, Torreira ruthlessly thrown out. That whether you rate him or not, has always give 100% for the football club. I don't think it's been a bad egg in any shape or form. And then I'm watching people like Willian being given pass after pass with no credit in the bank whatsoever. You know, no game time at this club, but he's still in. And I look at certain things of his managing that I wouldn't, you know, if you're playing really, really well, I think someone put on the on Twitter today, if I was Willock, I'd be in for a transfer this morning, getting out, because he's got no chance of making it this club. You know, if you perform like he did on Thursday, you at least deserve to be on the bench. I'm not saying starting, but you need to be, you know, you certainly deserve to be on the bench. A little question for you. What is Cedric doing at this football club? Plays in the Europa League, then he gets left out. I ain't seen him for 2 weeks now. What's he? Is he on a hike or something? Has he gone shopping? You know, gone back home? What's he doing? You know, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. You know, and this is continuing happening. And we had a great debate on a WhatsApp group earlier on about Martinelli. Everybody's going, "I'll wait till Martinelli comes back." He wasn't playing him. Played 3 outstanding games when Aubameyang was out of the team. Scored at Chelsea, playing really well. As soon as Aubameyang came back, he was left out. You know, very worrying times. Very, very worrying times.
Is there a bit, do you know? Yeah, go on. The Mesut Ozil thing.
On,
yeah.
no,
I mean, there's somebody. There's 1 second. There's somebody in the chat there saying that we slag off Mustafi, slagging off Kolasinac, and then we're saying where is Ozil. I'm not saying where is Ozil. What I'm saying is, with the team at the moment, how it's playing like it is, there's no reason for him not to be in the team. Or obviously now that he's not in, obviously not registered. But there's no reason why a manager should have a player like Mesut Ozil not in a squad when we're playing like this.
Let's talk about all these guys. Let's talk about Mustafi. Yeah, he's, you know, I don't think he was that bad last season going into the semi-final. He was played really well for Arsenal, but he's been dropped. You know what I mean? He's been injured, but then he's come back and he's dropped. I look at Ceballos. He's had 1 bad game for Arsenal, in my opinion. 1 bad game. He's been dropped. You know, I see other players. You know, Kolasinac. Yes, he's been given chance after chance, but now he's been dropped. He's out of it, out of the frame. Socrates, completely and utterly dropped and abandoned from this team. I've seen, you know, worse performances from players in this team now, still getting games. You know, Mari's injured, you know what I mean? I think he's coming back in. I think that he could make a difference because he could go to the left side of the defence, and that will then mean that Tierney can go as a left back or a wing back. I think that's got to happen. But the worrying fact with that is it's going to take him probably 3 or 4 weeks to get back into some sort of fitness and game time, you know. So this is where it's. I've always said it: never get injured in this sort of time of the season because you've got these Europa League games to play in, you know. So you've got these 6 games that you can get game time in. So hopefully Mari gets back quickly and can play in these 3 Europa League games to get his match fitness up, you know. And this is. You know, this is how it is. You know, if someone just said like, you know, Ceballos has had one bad game, do me a favour, Pat. You know what I mean? Well, when has he played back? When's the good games that he's played in? Because did you watch the cup final? Did you watch the FA Cup final and semi-final? He was outstanding in those games. I don't think he played that badly when in midweek. By the way, I thought he played very, very well in midweek against Molde. Doesn't get the game today. You know. I'm not saying that he's a world beater of all that, but I certainly think he's been a lot better than Willian and Lacazette over the last 3 or 4 games. And let's not forget, also, we have to think about Aubameyang. How many good games has Aubameyang had?
Yeah.
Still playing in the team. You know, so there's certain players get credit, and there's other players that seem to get a little bit more of a pass. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Ceballos has played that bad to be dropped after just one bad game. And then, you know, and then you've seen the front three up there. I will say about the front three, I don't think the way the system is helping them. I think they're having to do too much defensive work. You know, we've got the other thing is there was a picture today on Twitter when it was a picture of Aaron Ramsey, Cazorla, and Ozil, and they said that's those three there. We never lack creativity and goals, and that is true. We've got no midfield player. Whether you go from Ceballos, Partey, El Neni, any of them have got a goal in them, Craig. Not one of them. Who's got a goal in them from midfield?
Yeah. So it's obviously, you know, like it's what I've been saying on past podcasts.
Adam just said it on here. Look, no goals from midfield. It's true.
Yeah.
We've got no goals.
I have this thing about players who are on the pitch who know they're not getting challenged for a spot. I mean, Willian must be thinking this is great. He's got Pepe there challenging him for his position, but he knows Pepe's not going to get it. Like Aubameyang, who's going to come and play left wing instead of him? We could put Saka in there, yeah, but I mean, you know, Lacazette, who's challenging Lacazette for his position? No one.
I think Dan had to come up with a great point the other day. We was talking about, and I think it is a good point now. I don't think he's got anything to lose by putting Pepe down the middle. If he's not going to play him in the flanks, play him down the middle, see what he can do. Like
I said exactly the same thing. I was on the Birdcamp Wonderland podcast on Tuesday, and I said exactly the same thing.
Done very well as well, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. I said exactly the same thing to the boys. Dan, what did you think about playing Pepe down the middle?
Been calling for it.
Why not?
For weeks.
What have we got to lose?
Been calling for it for weeks, mate. What we need is something different, and he is something different. The times I've seen him play down the middle, Craig, it was right the way back against Liverpool at Anfield in our third game where we'd signed Pepe, I think it was, or second game of this last season. And he was just terrorising Robertson, and he's still, I think, don't quote me on this, I'd have to go back and look, but I think it is still the first time Van Dijk has been dribbled past. First time a player has been dribbled past Van Dijk was Pepe through the middle. And the other time was in the cup final where he was just an absolute handful. Rudiger was awful against him. He was such a nuisance. So I want to see it. I want to see him through the middle. That's when you can put Aubameyang on the left if you want, because Aubameyang will be fine down the left if Pepe's in the middle because of the way they work together. I don't think personally, and everybody seems to say that they're like Dwight York and Andy Cole, I don't think Lacazette and Aubameyang can play together. They're certainly not proving it over the last couple of seasons, in my opinion. So I feel like we need something different. You talk about Willian. Willian must be loving it. He's on a ridiculous wage. He's got 3 years at this club if he wants it. And he is not doing anything to perform. And I don't get this settling in. He's been in the Premier League for the best part of 10 years. He knows these teams. He knows how to play against these teams. And he's not performing for it. And at the moment, Arteta has said to him, don't worry, you'll play. Even if you're poor, I'll pick you next week. That's the wrong way or the wrong attitude to get across, because he should be thinking, I'll tell you what, I need to be on my toes here because Pepe is in the Europa League games. He's starting to perform now. I need to have a good game tonight. Lacazette, I need to perform tonight. I really do, because I've got, the likes of Aubameyang, who they're talking about coming through the centre. We've got Balogun and Eddie that are getting the chances that Arteta is giving them. We're not seeing it. Unfortunately, mate, we have got a real big situation for us. And I never thought I'd say it, but we have got a real big problem going forward. And that is something I never thought we'd say. What have we had for the last 16 years? We're fine going forward, but we always concede goals. Now we're conceding goals and we can't score. It's like complete role reversal. So I would have Pepe down the middle just to try it. I look at players like Joe Willock coming through. I don't care that it was against Dundalk or Mould. I'd like to see Joe Willock against the Everton, Wolves and Spurses, but, doing what he's doing against Dundalk or Mulder. But he should be given the chance. At least put him on the bench. Give him an option to bring on instead of Granite Stinking Xhaka. We all know what he can do. He's a completely different... He's not going to give us any creativity. No goals from midfield. And the Ozil thing's got to stop now for me. He's played his last game for Arsenal. He's never going to get in the side. Even if you protest that he should be, or you beg Arteta that he wants to be him, he's decided not to go with him. Same as Socrates. Both of them are not going to be playing. Okay, we need to let that one go. But what we do need is to look at that solution. And if the solution is paying Pepe in a 10, or Willian in a 10, or Saka in a 10, or Willock in a 10, then let's go back to it. I don't like number 10s in football. I don't like it at all. But if we have to do something different, I would welcome a 4-2-3-1 at the moment, because we need something different. Play Gabriel and Holding, or Gabriel and Saliba at the back, and play the 4 that we need until Murray's back or whoever, and go 4-3-3, go 4-2-3-1, because something needs to change moving forward now. I think Arteta knows. I think Arteta knows that he can't continue with this same tactics, this same formation, and these same players. And if he does, trust me, he will be in trouble. The fans will get on his back. The fans will turn.
He was definitely different last night in his pre-match, in his interview after the game. I mean, he's been interviewed when we've lost before, but last night was different. I think he was. I know I'll go on what Lee said about that. He's always with his assistants looking at computers and stuff like that. But I think, as an ex-player, he knows. I'm sure he knows that yesterday's just not good enough.
The only positive was I didn't pay £15 for it. I mean, that was literally the only positive of the night, was that I didn't pay for it. It was that bad. And I think he knows. He knows the fans are going to get on his back. Do you know what? I think I said this to Lee last night. I don't know if Lee might have even said it to me. He is lucky that the fans aren't in the grounds at the moment, because trust me, it would not be pretty. He thinks he's got it bad now. It would be horrible with our toxic fans. They would be getting right on. It wouldn't be a very pleasant place for him, I'll tell you that now. And, Emery didn't have the best, last season. Emery had similar starts to this, and we were getting on his back for worse. So it ain't looking too good. The next 3 games, I tell you, people laugh. I'm not saying I want him out after the next 3 games. I'm saying I want to see solutions in the next 3 games, because if he keeps it like this, Arteta will be under pressure. And rightly so, because he's not learning. It's learning on the job and all that, but everybody learns on the job. You're forever learning as a football manager, because times are forever changing. You need to be looking at what is happening and what is currently working. And no Arsenal fan at the moment can say what he is doing is going well. It's just not. The results are proving that. You can't lose 4 games out of the 8 you start with. You need to be looking to do better than that. I don't mind if you lose to Liverpool away or City away. A lot of people do. But you need to be going to Leicester and Villa at home with some confidence you're going to take 3 points. And I don't think any fan was going into those games with confidence. And that's a worry in a moment, mate.
Absolutely. I'll just bring this one in here from Tech Colour. Thanks very much, mate, for your kind donation. Wide Tech keeps playing Herber out wide. You don't see players like Lewandowski, Aguero, Kane, Vardy playing wide. Absolute waste of Aubameyang potential. I think Lee kind of touched on that earlier. Is absolutely correct. I mean, how many times have you seen Kane, Vardy, Aguero, Lewandowski in their own half defending? Here, there's another one here now. Here he is. Arteta has no man management skills. He's a dead root.
I think that's a little bit harsh on him. I think what me and Dan are saying, we want to see change, and I think that Mark hit it as well on the right thing there, was when we were saying that this is a good time for that change. I mean, the international breaks come now. He's got to look at it and go, this is not working. The proof's in the pudding. You can see that. 10 goals conceded, 9 goals scored. We need to start scoring goals. We've got quality forwards, and they're not doing their jobs because they're being asked to defend. So it's a time for a change. He's got to look at it, and I think that's what we're seeing. If he doesn't do it, then as what Dan is saying, he's going to put himself under a lot of pressure, because at the end of the day, doesn't matter who you are, you're going to go on your results, and it's going to get worse and worse. And the fact of the matter is, at this moment in time, I totally agree with Mark saying it's a blip. Things are not going quite right. So it's time to change. It's particularly at home. We've lost 2 away from home, Man City and Liverpool, beaten Man United, beaten Wolves. So we're away from, you turn around and say, well, that ain't bad. That's okay. We can deal with that, but we've got to look to do something different at home. I've got no problems if he goes with the same system against Leeds and defends like that away from home. But when we come up against Wolves at home the next game, he's got to change it and be a little bit more proactive. I think he's far, far too cautious. I don't think that you need to be that cautious against certain teams. You know, Leeds are going to come in and attack you. I can guarantee it. So the system will probably suit us where we can sit back and hit them on the break. You know, but when we play Wolves, I watched Wolves against Leicester, well organised, very, very disciplined, and they've got players that can hurt you. So you've got to get on top of them and make sure you can't be hurt, Craig, if you've got the ball. So keep the bloody ball. And we haven't got people that have got the ball. We haven't got people that will keep on the ball all the time. You know, we keep giving it away. How many times yesterday did we get the ball in from our defenders and we put it up the field and there was no one up there? It just kept coming straight back. All because our defenders are defending. All our forwards are defending too deep. They're all too deep. I feel sorry for Lacazette. You know, he's being told get back into the midfield, get back in, mark this man. And then when you look at it, to get to the box, I know he shouldn't be getting he should be getting these chances, but for him to get to the box, he has to run 60, 70 yards at pace. So when he gets there, he's probably knackered. You know, I mean, I watch Vardy, he's doing it from 10 yards. There's a difference, Craig. I'm sorry, there's a difference. I know that he's not scoring, but you're asking him to do work. You know, look at their forward yesterday. I don't think he went inside his own half, staying on the edge of the box, edge of the halway line.
This is the thing. This is the thing, though, Lee. Surely Arteta, that is on Arteta there, because he's asking Lacazette to do a job that he cannot do for now 5 games in a row, and he's still getting in the game. Try something different. Yeah. This is what frustrates me with the guy. You know, this is what it is.
That's what we're saying. Yeah, that's where he's got to change, and he's got 2 weeks now to sort it out, without a doubt.
There's a question coming there from Ashish. I hope I've said that right. Ashish.
Ash, dude, just say Ash.
Ash. Yeah, we'll call Ash. Thank you very much for your kind donation. Do you guys think we can still get the top 4? Sorry to laugh, mate. Not a chance. Absolutely not a chance.
It's going to be a tough ask from the word go, because there's 4 better teams than us straight away.
Yeah,
there's 4 better teams.
There's more than that. There's more than 4.
There's more than 4. Yeah. This one comes in from Sam. Thank you very much, mate. Arteta is micromanaging every player, telling them where every pass should go. It's strangling the players so much. They need freedom to play.
Brilliant, Sam. Yeah, great call. Great shout.
Absolutely. It is looking like. Here we are. I was just going to say, it's looking like this. Another mid-table finish, if we're lucky. People are saying, Crook here says, we'll be lucky if we finish in the top 8. Here's another good one. Look, you can always bank on Lee for a good question. Hello, mate. Is it time to take the captain's armband off Aubameyang and give it to someone that leads? Aubameyang doesn't do that and is not that player.
I don't see another leader out there. You know what I mean? I like Lee. I've got a lot of time for Lee. But if you can't get off Aubameyang, who are you going to give it to? We ain't got a leader out there, have we?
Yeah, I'm thinking
he leads by example more than anything, doesn't he? Like, by the way he's playing. But you know, for whatever I'm gonna say I think the system and the way the style of play is stifling him. You know, he's stifling him. I see him back, you know, further than Saka yesterday.
Yeah,
3 or 4 occasions. You know what I mean? And Saka's your wing back. You know, so I think that it's a little bit tough on him. Like, you know, I've got to say that I think that, you know, listen, when he come off yesterday, you could see the frustration in his face. You can see it. He's playing the game. He's not had 1 chance. He's not had a shot, and all he's done is run back and chase back. You know, an Aston Villa fullback. You know, that's not good enough.
Track says we've been fooled into thinking all our players are rubbish. They're not. This team should be able to play 4-2-3-1 and create chances with Elneny and Partey playing as holding midfielders. Mark, would you agree with that?
That's exactly what I thought should have happened yesterday. I couldn't agree with that anymore. You know, that's Jack was drifting in behind our wing backs, dragging our 3 centre halves. We should have just matched them up, gone 4-4-2, filled the spaces, Partey, and then he's sitting, protecting, dropping into the hole. You know, acting as a 3rd centre back if needed, or more importantly, driving the you know forward. But then you've got the 3, haven't you? You know, with Uber, Pepe, and Willian. It would have been Willian. You know, going forward, but That's a difficult one, but that I'll be amazed if he doesn't come back with that. I mean, the other, just what was ever wrong with like 4-4-2? Do you know what I mean? Like, why don't we play Laka and Uber up top and say, right, come on, boys? You know what I mean? You've got tremendous understanding. You played together for 3-4 years. You're both absolute top draw level players. There's your double act. Just do what you do. Do you know what I mean? And set up 2 banks of 4 and just say,
Be nice for him to try it, Mark, wouldn't it? Just be nice for him to try it,
yes,
mate,
Yes. I mean, he talks about, we like these non-negotiables he's got. We want him to stick to these principles. He's brought these principles in, and we don't want to abandon that and just go, whoa, let's attack, whoa, like go gung-ho because we've had one bad result. But, get two lines of 4 all working hard and let Uber and Laka run the show up top, But you've got to have some sort of link. Danny Ceballos done quite well, doing that role. We just haven't got the right personnel to play what he wants to play just at this minute in time. It's going to take a little while, but that's a good shout. 4-2-3-1. I like it.
This one comes in from, is that Morley? I hope I'm pronouncing his names right. Hi, girls. Do you think Arteta has a pride issue? I mean, he's thrown Guendouzi out the door, the one player who doesn't hide, but then lets Willian continuously play. Lee Judges.
Yeah, well, I think we've said that. I do agree. You can't be, if you're going to be ruthless with one, you've got to be ruthless with the other, and you've got to seem to be fair. And I think that, I was going back even with the Ozil situation. I think that he's close to losing these players. I think it's very, very close. You know what I mean? If they down tools and you start losing the dressing room. So you've got to be on top of that, and I think that this is where he's got to do it, because players will be looking at that and going, look, well, he keeps giving him games. He keeps giving him a chance. I'm not getting a chance. And players don't think that they don't, So it is a big a worry how he's going to be able to handle this. Somebody put in a comment just there, do Arsenal need to bring in a Bergkamp or something? Yeah, you're too right, they do. They need to bring someone like that in there. He needs someone there that's going to help him. And I mean, not just by his coaching, because I think that's very, very good. But sometimes, like yesterday, you could see things are going wrong. And, I'm not having a go at him for this. You just probably thought, I don't know what to do here. But someone else might have an idea. Well, hold it. Look, let's bring Bellerin back in there. Just put him into in front of Holding. Let's block this off. Do something different. I didn't see that yesterday. Even whether you're going to go 4-4-2, it was the same substitutions for the same players. You know what I mean? There wasn't no. You criticise Wenger as much as you like, but there were times when Arsene Wenger would, with 10-15 minutes, bring on all forwards. You'd have 4 forwards on the pitch and it'd be gun-ho, and sometimes you get the result, sometimes you didn't. But you walked out the ground, you might moan, but you was entertained. I've not been entertained. The 4 games, or the 6 games, I'm going to be honest, that Arsenal played at home, have been nothing short of boring. Boring to watch. Yeah. I'm sorry, it's not. That's not what we've been brought up on at the Arsenal. We're not seeing chances in or nothing.
When will you guys see the light on Arteta? Now, there's a lot of this going around Twitter at the moment. Why can't you see Arteta as a fraud? Now, I will not have Arteta.
It's just won the FA Cup, guys.
Yeah, I know. People are saying, when am I going to see the light? Now, I'll tell you when I'll see the light. I'll see the light in end of next season. But I won't see the light now on a man who's been in the job for 10 months, who's had 2 transfer windows, and has inherited shit. This man is not going to come in and change everything in 10 months. He's not going to come in and make us well beaters. This team finished 8th last season, except for Gabriel and Partey, right? He is not a miracle worker. Mikel Arteta needs time, like everyone keeps saying. People are saying, don't compare us to Liverpool. I'm not comparing us to Liverpool. I'm comparing us to the situation Klopp found himself in. Liverpool fans took a step back, were patient. Now look at them. All I am saying is to be calling for Mikel Arteta to be sacked as manager of Arsenal Football Club now is ludicrous. And it is deluded to be asking for him to be sacked. I hope that
100% agree. 100% agree. 100% agree. You know, listen.
He's not going to get sacked.
I get what people are saying. Listen, we can come on here and criticise. Me and Dan were criticising yesterday, and I'm unsure about what Mikel Arteta is doing at the moment. I am. I said me and Dan spoke privately about it yesterday, but we're not calling for the man's head.
No.
We're saying that he's got to. This is an opportunity now to try and put things right. This is a manager, by the way, that obviously has got things right. I think at the moment Arsenal are a cup side. They will beat teams on a one-off like they did to win the FA Cup, but to put in consistent performances, they're going to struggle. Now that tells me that the players mentally are not quite. They might be good enough, but mentally they're not good enough to win games week in, week out. And then you have to win leagues and to win titles, you have to have a special mentality. They've not got it, these players. So he's got to whittle them out. He's got to realise which ones they are and which they're not. He's also got to learn from his mistakes as well. Now, I think at the end of the day, I'm going to have to say about Mikel Arteta here, I think it's refreshing that he's come out and criticised himself, because I was fuming at him yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely fuming. But he diffused that by coming out saying, "Oh no, I got it all wrong." What else can he do? He's done everything that you think you want your manager to do. He's put himself up there. He's told everybody that he's wrong. He's made mistakes, and he's going to. Oh, that's lovely. That is, Mark. Yeah, much better. You know what I mean? So, and he's done that. I don't see what else he's going to do. But if he continues. This is what we're saying when people are going, "Oh, but let's get it right." If he continues to do what he's doing at this moment in time, well, of course we're going to turn around and question him and say to him, "This is not right." But give the man time. He's been in the job for 10 months at this moment. I also think that's much better when he goes off, isn't it? Like, you know? So what we've got to do now, I think now, is say, right, okay, let's see what happens in the transfer window. Because I think before anybody starts going and jumping on his case, he has said that he wanted a creative player. He's gone and tried everything to get a creative player in this transfer window. They didn't get him it. You know, so let's see what happens in January to see if they can get him. Because I'll tell you what, Arsenal, when people say can get top four and all that, if we can keep where we are at the moment, look at Manchester United. They brought in Fernandes and look how things changed for him.
I'll just bring that one in here. Look, we're 6 points off we are just 6 points off the top. 30 games left to play. Arteta's got enough time to rectify. We don't need to win every game.
And that's what we're saying.
Brilliant. Thanks for your donation there. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that donation. You know, I mean, he's exactly right. At this moment in time, we've got chance. He's got a chance to change things. He will know, Craig, that things are not right at home. Come on, we're all seeing it. He knows he's got to change it, but he needs the help. He needs Arsenal to say, right, come on. If it's a while, let's go and get him. And Mark is spot on today. I'll tell you that now. If we had Grealish in the team yesterday, we wouldn't have lost that game. No. We wouldn't have lost that game because he would have been able to get the ball, take it beyond into their box like he did. What have we got a player that can run 30, 40 yards like he did yesterday?
There's players out there, Oli. There's players out there. I totally agree. I love Jack Grealish, but there's players out there talking about the transfer window. I've been looking at the Champions League because I really miss it massively, like I'm sure all of our fans do. And I saw the other day that Borussia Mönchengladbach beat Real Madrid and Marcus Thuram was one of their best players. Absolute quality, better than Lacazette. I look at Edouard from Celtic scoring. I look at the likes of Dominic Szoboszlai from Salzburg, who's by far one of their best players, and he's going to be a top draw player. Would probably cost 15 to 20 million, you know, or someone's just put in there £23 million release clause. There you go. £23 million. Do it in January. Get him in. He's creative. He can give us drive and energy in midfield. You don't have to spend the 90 millions on Maddison's or Grealish's. There are other players out there. So
totally agree.
I think that we need to do that. We need something in January, but he needs to be given the funds. And I don't believe that we've got them. No one's going to leave Arsenal in January. They couldn't leave it in the summer, so no one's going to leave in January. So it's going to get to a stage where we need to be given some money yet again from Stan Kroenke. I don't have the faith that he's going to do that, but we need some players in January because this lot, they're still not good enough.
just want to bring this one here. Please don't ever compare us to Liverpool. I will say it again.
Oh, for God's
I will
sake.
say it again. I am not comparing Arsenal to Liverpool. I am not comparing Arteta to Klopp. I am comparing the situation. Here we go now. He shouldn't have been hired in the first place. An experienced coach at one of the biggest clubs in the world. Why do we accept that? I'll tell you why we can't probably attract big managers, because they don't want to come here because they see us on social media and they see how we behave as football supporters.
I think that also they see something in Arteta that could be, you know, a special thing. Come on, like, you know. Yes, I think that he was a cheap option. Yes, I think that we couldn't because of the finances and things like that. But he is also a bloody good coach, you know what I mean? And you've seen that the team being coached has done pretty well. I understand and I get what people are saying, like, you know, I do get what people are saying. But let's give him a little bit more time. And if it ain't right, then be ruthless.
If anyone says, look, Lee, I think you'll get the hands down. If anyone says that we haven't improved, then they need to go and watch a different sport. Because we have improved massively.
Defensively, we have, Craig. Not offensively, we haven't.
But we have improved. I'm not talking about sections. I'm talking. We have improved.
Well,
have we not improved? Have we not
no,
improved?
the statistics say that we're not, though, Craig.
We're harder to beat, aren't we? We're harder to beat.
We're harder to beat, but the statistics, Craig, say that we're not. I'm only just going on what I've seen today. He's got a worse win rate than Bruce Rioch, than
oh, come on.
He has the Craig.
Yeah, but who cares about fucking Bruce Rioch?
Oh, Craig,
Jesus Christ!
You just cost me a bottle of wine, Craig.
Are we seriously
I've been
saying
gone for 5 minutes. I've come back and you're effing and jeffing everywhere.
How do I mute him?
Yeah, all I'm saying, you've got to say we've got.
Right, 1 second. I'll just mute Mark now. 1 second. Are you seriously telling me, the four of us sitting here now, as football supporters who've been watching Arsenal for all these years, that we haven't improved?
The statistics say that we haven't.
All right, okay.
We can't. This is Craig. This is what people are going to throw back at us. You've got to come up with something better than that.
No, yeah, whatever. Big up from Chicago, fellas. Only thing good about the weekend is that Trump can't tell us to inject bleach anymore. The judge is the man. Keep the faith. Well, I'd have to disagree with that, to be honest. Look, lads,
I'm with you. I'm with you on this. Just finish it up here, like. But people that are against Arteta at this moment in time are throwing these facts out, and the Arteta if you like. I don't want to go down that route, but are saying are different, but they're hitting you with statistics that I can't defend at the moment.
Yeah,
when they're saying,
I'm fucking old school. I see what I see on the pitch. I'm not interested in statistics.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Here you go. Statistics say that Arteta's got 2 trophies in 10 months and he beat COVID.
There you go.
You know, so
that's a great statistic, isn't it? I'll tell you what, it's a great statistic because you can come back with them and say, well, hold on a minute, Arteta has won that. Bruce Rioch didn't win nothing. Emery got us to a cup final, but he didn't win nothing.
He did sign Dennis Bergkamp, though.
So yeah, he did sign Dennis Bergkamp.
Signed Partey.
So at the end of the day, when people keep saying these things, you can hit it back with something like that, which is a great thing, like, you know. So listen, I don't think we should be bashing Arteta at this moment in time. I think there's, you know, I don't see why we are bashing Arteta. Question him, yeah, but we don't want to be getting him.
That's the word.
No problem with that. No problem with people asking him questions. But people, you know, people on the internet calling for to be sacked.
Yeah, well, I can't believe that at the moment.
Doing videos on YouTube and putting them on YouTube, calling for Arteta to be sacked. What? I mean,
that's what you get. That's what you get, though, innit, with Arsenal. You know, this their flip flops about. You know, these 3 games, I want to see something different. Otherwise, I'm going to get on the guy's back because it's proving that he is not learning and he's accepting mediocrity. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I want him out. I'm not saying get someone else in because I don't think there's anyone at the moment that there is to get in that could just take us over and take us on a winning streak straight away. Whoever comes in, it's going to take time with this lot. I'm just starting to ask questions about what I'm seeing on the pitch because I'm falling asleep. We're not scoring goals and we're still losing football games.
Eddie, does anyone want to put have some last words before we go?
Cheese, I've been at Pids has been asking me all night what I've had on my thing, and it's cheese, Pids.
There's people here saying
cheese and crackers.
There's people here saying I'm missing super chats, but I can't see any super chats.
I couldn't see him. No.
From the fella who just said that I've missed them. I'm scrolling right back through here now, and I can't see them. I'm so sorry. Is it Pramod who's asking me that? I can't
so many
see them.
chats.
I haven't got them. I have not got them. That's why I haven't read them out, because as you can see, I've been reading out all the super chats this evening. I'm very sorry.
He said, I am someone who was 50-50 with Arteta when he was hired, and after 10 months, I'm still there.
Well, same as me. Look, you know
still
what?
got a lot. It's got a lot to do. Listen, from my point of view, I've watching him very closely at the moment over the last few games. He's making a lot of mistakes. I will say that he has made a lot of mistakes over the last two or three times. So, from my point of view, cut out those mistakes, Mikel, and let's do the business. There's a super chat coming.
There you go. Look. Who's that coming from there? Let's have a discussion. Let's have a discussion. Love from India. It's 2:40 a.m. Goodness me. Thank you. If you've stayed up just to watch this, then thank you very much. I probably suspect you haven't, but and I'm still crying over the fact we've got Ozil and we still don't have him. He still could have done better.
Can't argue that. Can't argue it.
You can't.
Time's a thing, isn't it?
Love the
what he's got
podcast.
to have.
I think we just need more time. Big up Lee. What's it? Big up Lee.
Big up Lee, man.
Big up.
Lee. I love Lee.
Jealousy is not your finest trait, Craig. Like, I'm just
13 years, Guna Russ, 13 years.
I bet it's about Cronky. My God.
Big up, Russ.
Hey, Russ, why don't you just come round and put a fiver through my door? That's all you've got to do. You know what I mean?
Right, lads, look, I've got to leave it here now because I have other kids in the house. And
I've got to have my dinner anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Watching Mark every week makes me hungry.
Well, I have to eat. It's because you go on such passionate rants. I just get settled in. I got up, made myself a cup of tea halfway through one of yours today. It was tremendous. It's passionate. I love to see it. It's what I tune in for. This is what we are. Let's not forget. I'll just close with this. Yeah, we're all Arsenal fans. We're all supporting this football club on this little journey that we're on here now, and we're not getting battered from pillar to post. Hopefully we're not going to have any more embarrassing results like we did at Old Trafford. We're in the throes, aren't we? Last week we had one of the best results away from home in God knows how many years, and we've had a little blip yesterday. It's disappointing. It's upsetting. It's not what we want to see.
But just remember though, Mark, beating Man United away for the first time in 14 years isn't an improvement. Right. Until we see you next week. Or no, it won't be next week, is it? Because we've got
a break, international break, isn't it?
Internationals.
England are playing Ireland. That should be pretty cool. Thank you to you all for coming and watching us, listening to us talk this evening. It's much appreciated. Over 600 of you at peak, which is absolutely amazing support. You keep coming back every single week, and as long as you keep coming back, we'll keep doing it. My thanks to Mark.
Cool.
My thanks to Dan.
Thanks, Craig, and congrats, mate, on 10,000 subs. You've done absolutely amazing with this channel, mate. You really have, and you deserve it. So, congratulations, buddy. 10,000.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes, well, I have to say thanks to all you lot as well, because to be honest, they're not coming to listen to me.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Yeah, do you know?
Well, you can see they ain't by the comments.
Very true, very true. Perhaps I might give it up. Give the people what they want.
No, that don't upset David Hine. He did say something, didn't he? Good old David. Well done.
So I'd just like to thank all of you, and I'd like to thank Nigel for doing the. It's all a team.
We're a team.
Exactly. It's not just me. I'm just going to leave that one there.
God. Was it willpower? You've let me down, man. You've let me down. Little red heart as well.
Yeah, I know. Well,
what a tart.
That's extra stuff. That's extra. Like I said, if you keep coming to listen to us, we'll keep doing it.
Just to watch me eat. Apparently,
yeah. Pay for it all.
Perhaps I've got the wrong. Perhaps I should be doing something else.
Yeah, can't cook, won't cook.
Judges, thank you very much, sir, for coming along and being part of it.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Mr.
Rish.
Oh, cheers, Mr. Rish. Top man. And
look, Mark's got to love one up there. Come and get this one up quickly.
Oh, that's me eating fan. Dan,
well done. So we've all had someone love us today.
How's your Movember coming on, Dan?
Yeah, it's all right, actually. It don't look too great from here, actually, but it is coming on nicely. Look at that.
Looks like the cat farted in front of you.
It's getting there.
Don't forget,
mate.
Don't forget the
you're doing as well, Craig. You going for it as well?
No, I just haven't had a shave.
No. You're just lazy, are you?
Yeah. I was off work. I don't shave when I'm off work, kid.
What's that, 1 day's growth?
That's 3 days.
Oh, 3 days.
Want some for your head?
Oh, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? I thought I was looking in the mirror for a second there.
Need to get that last comment to finish on, Craig, from LDC.
LDC. Oh, yeah.
Where's Nigel?
Nigel, I have. You let that get through, Nigel. Nigel, wake up, Nigel.
Love it.
Are you watching EastEnders?
We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Until we do, up the Arsenal. Keep the faith. Take care of yourselves and each other.
I'm a soldier.
God, you gunners.
I think I'm a soldier.
Up the Arsenal.
Up the Arsenal.
Hey.